Let's get right into it.
Number 6. The sofa of death. Picture this. You walk into your living room, flop dramatically onto your comfy couch, and think, wow, I could sit here forever. Funny thing? That was basically the marketing slogan for 19th century fainting couches, except replace forever with because your organs are collapsing under the weight of your corset. These swoopy little sofas weren't invented for Netflix binges or impulsive Amazon scrolling. They were designed so women could, quite literally, pass out gracefully. Back in Victorian times, women were trussed up tighter than a Thanksgiving turkey. Breathing? Optional. Standing up for more than 5 minutes without fainting? Absolutely not. So what do you do when half your population keeps face-planting into the floorboards? You invent furniture specifically for collapsing in style. And it gets creepier. These fainting couches weren't just about saving dainty ankles from splintered wood. They were part medical device, part gender prison. The idea was, women are too delicate for real life, so let's give them special furniture. Imagine designing an entire piece of furniture because society collectively decided oxygen was optional for half its members. If Apple did that today, it'd be like selling an eye chair that only works when you're mildly suffocating. Over time, the fainting couch evolved into the chaise lounge, which, fun fact, got adopted by psychiatrists. So not only was it a collapsing station for corset wearers, it eventually turned into the official "tell me about your mother" therapy chair. Meaning this innocent-looking sofa has spent centuries catching people's most dramatic breakdowns. So yeah, next time you curl up on a chaise lounge, remember you're basically reclining on a historical monument to bad fashion decisions and untreated emotional baggage.
Number 5.
The baby cage. Imagine dangling your infant in a tiny metal cage outside your 10th floor apartment window. No, that's not the setup for a horror movie. That was considered good parenting advice in the 1920s. Back then, doctors decided babies needed fresh air for strong lungs, which makes sense until you realize their version of fresh air meant suspending your child over city traffic like a human pigeon coop. These wire contraptions were bolted to the side of buildings, and parents would plop their babies in there for hours. You'd walk down the street, look up, and see a literal toddler terrarium sticking out of someone's window. The logic was basically sunlight and oxygen equals healthy baby. Gravity and common sense equals optional. Imagine being a newborn, blissfully unaware, when suddenly your whole world is the side of a brick wall and a view of horse-drawn carriages below. It's like baby's first IMAX experience, except with a non-zero chance of plummeting. The cages even came with little blankets and toys, as if that made the whole thing less terrifying. Oh, don't worry about the death drop, Timmy. Here's a rattle. It's basically the 1920s version of sticking your kid in front of an iPad. Parents weren't lazy, they were forward-thinking. Of course, most of these cages got banned once people realized dangling infants off skyscrapers was maybe not the safest childcare strategy. But honestly, I kind of admire the commitment. Parents today panic if their baby eats a crayon, but a century ago, they were casually turning their apartment windows into baby balconies. So if you ever feel guilty about too much screen time, just remember, at least you didn't hang your kid outside like a Christmas decoration.
Number 4. The vibrating chair. Imagine a recliner that shakes you like a martini while a doctor stands nearby, saying, "Yes, yes, this will cure your hysteria." Welcome to the vibrating chair, a device that looks like it was invented by a chiropractor who lost a bet. Back in the late 1800s, medical geniuses believed that all sorts of conditions, from melancholia to being too moody for your husband, could be treated with mechanical shaking. So they built chairs that rattled patients around like they were popcorn in a microwave. The idea was that intense vibration would stimulate circulation and restore balance. Translation: we don't know what's wrong with you, so we'll just shake it until something happens. You'd sit down, the machine would crank up, and suddenly you're vibrating so hard your teeth are filing for divorce. And doctors charge serious money for this. Imagine dropping half a paycheck just to get rattled around like a paint can at Home Depot. The creepy part is, these weren't just for adults. Some ads suggested kids could benefit too, because nothing screams childhood wellness than being tossed around in an Edwardian washing machine. And of course, women were the primary patients, diagnosed with the very scientific catch-all condition of hysteria, which basically meant, you're upset? Clearly your uterus is misbehaving. Sit in the shaky chair. Over time, the vibrating chair evolved into, well, modern massage chairs. Yep, that soothing recliner at the mall is just a sanitized descendant of a machine once used to cure sadness and punish wombs. So next time you feed quarters into a massage chair, remember, you're participating in history's least relaxing medical scam.
Number 3.
The Hair Museum. You've probably kept a photo of a loved one or maybe a lock of baby hair tucked in a book. Sweet, right? Now multiply that by thousands of people, add Victorian obsession, and you get hair jewelry. Yes, actual necklaces, bracelets, and even wall art made out of human hair. The Victorians had a full-on hair fetish. When someone died, you didn't just bury them. You snipped off a chunk of their locks, braided it into a bracelet, and wore Aunt Mildred on your wrist like a sentimental charm bracelet from hell. And it wasn't just for the dead. Lovers would swap locks of hair too, because nothing says, I love you, like giving your partner a piece of your scalp. Romantic, right? Whole businesses popped up around this. You could commission custom hair wreaths to hang in your living room. Imagine walking into someone's house and seeing a decorative wall piece, only to realize it's a giant braided hair circle made out of dead Uncle Gerald. Beautiful and nightmare fuel. To be fair, this was their version of keeping memories alive before cameras were affordable. But it still feels like every Victorian was one step away from starring in a horror anthology. And yes, there are still entire museums of this stuff. Shelves filled with elaborate, dusty hair art that makes you wonder if ghosts are attached. So if you ever think modern art is weird, just remember, at least we're not making friendship bracelets out of each other's follicles anymore. Progress.
Number 2.
The Ouija board.
You know a product's origins are shady when its main selling point is, hey kids, want to summon the dead? That's the Ouija board. Now sold as a fun family game, but originally designed as a literal seance shortcut. Nothing screams wholesome entertainment like letting grandma's ghost crash your sleepover. The Ouija board popped up in the late 1800s during America's spiritualism craze. Everyone was obsessed with talking to the afterlife because apparently just grieving wasn't dramatic enough. So entrepreneurs thought, why not monetize ghost chat? Thus, a wooden board with some letters, numbers, and the word goodbye became the hottest paranormal gadget in town. And here's the creepy part. It wasn't just marketed to grieving adults. Families would sit around the living room, candlelight flickering, casually inviting whatever spirit was available to come spell out their message. Imagine asking, hey, who's at the door? And getting an answer like, demon, sliding across the table. Nothing says quality family bonding like summoning Beelzebub before bedtime. Psychologists will tell you the Ouija works through the ideomotor effect. Basically, your muscles twitch without you realizing it, and the pointer moves on its own. Translation, it's not spirits, it's you. But try explaining that to someone who just watched the planchette spell out their dead uncle's name. Science doesn't exactly compete well with goosebumps. Over the years, the Ouija board went from spiritual device to Halloween party accessory, but its reputation never fully shook off the creep factor. Even now, some people refuse to keep one in their house, just in case it is a hotline to the underworld. It's like owning a chainsaw. Maybe you'll never use it, but you still don't want it whispering your name at 3 a.m. So yes, next time you see a Ouija board in the toy aisle, remember, it wasn't designed for slumber parties. It was designed to open the door to guests you definitely don't want hanging around.
Number 1.
The gas mask for kids. Nothing screams childhood joy like strapping a war gadget to your toddler's face. During World War II, kids were issued gas masks, including one modeled after Mickey Mouse. Because apparently the best way to fight chemical warfare was with Disney branding. The idea was simple. Paint it bright, make it playful, and kids won't freak out while suffocating in a rubber muzzle. In reality, imagine a room full of toddlers wheezing through bug-eyed respirators looking like tiny Darth Vaders at a clown convention. Comforting? Nope. Nightmare fuel? Absolutely. The creepiest part, most kids never actually needed them. Whole generations were traumatized by practice drills for gas attacks that never came. It's basically the 1940s version of making your kid wear a shark cage in the bathtub just in case. Today, those masks sit in museums. Less safety equipment, more evidence humanity will traumatize children in style. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.